Okay, so 3:15 in the morning and I'm doing Jlab14. How dedicated am I? Okay, in this Jlab the question is modify Jlab13 so that it displays the current sum, product and average after each number is entered. Now if you've watched Jlab13, that's just a program where you enter three numbers and it gets their sum, product and average. So in this one we're just going to have it so that it displays the current one after each number is entered. Okay, so we'll get started on that. Now actually what I'm going to do in this one, instead of just copying the usual template and input, I'm actually going to just copy straight from Jlab13, because I mean, half the work is already done, so there's no point in me doing it again. So copy these, new folder, Jlab14, paste, and then just don't forget to rename this to Jlab14. Now then, so we can get cracking on that. Okay, so just don't forget to change some of the things. It's the 13th now. This is Jlab14. Input 3 and enter their current sum, product and average after each number is entered. Okay, and Jlab14. Okay, so the way the program works at the minute, if it'll build, is enter your first number, 5, 10, 15. The sum of the three numbers is 30, the product of the three numbers is 750, the average of the three numbers is 10. Okay, simple enough. Right, so this time we're going to change it so that each time a number is entered it will display the current sum, product and average. So this isn't really a big task. Really, we're going to take this last display of results and we're just going to copy these three. So it'll ask to enter the numbers, we'll have that. Ask to enter number 2. Don't worry now, if you don't understand this it'll come clear in a minute. And we're going to have to take this part here out. Okay, ask user to enter number 1. Okay, then all we do is change these things, this part here, display current after number 1. So the current sum of the three numbers is of, actually I'll just say of the numbers, the current product of the numbers is, and the current average of the numbers is. And we can just actually, instead of even have sum, product and average, we can change each one of these to number 1. Okay, so because it's obviously all just going to be what you entered in first. So this is, as I said in a previous tutorial, Java is pretty much common sense and a bit of logical thinking. So thinking logically, like instead of having variables for each one, using sum, product and average and having to initialize them as number 1, you can just use number 1 because it's going to be number 1. That was a lot of number 1. So anyway, number 1 for all of those. Okay, so next please enter your second number. Now first of all, again, I'm just going to change these to current of the numbers. Now, so this time we do have to do a bit of messing around. So we have here ask user to enter number 2. Calculate current infos, we'll just say. Save me from typing out all that other stuff. So now we do the calculations. So sum is equal to number 1 plus number 2. Yeah. Product is equal to number 1, multiply by number 2, and average is equal to, and again we use sum divided by 2 because there's only 2 numbers entered at the moment. And then we can leave that sum, product, average. The current sum of the numbers is sum, product, and average. Okay? So display current after number 2. As I say, just try and keep your code fairly well commented. Just even though you mightn't need it, it's always good practice to do it. Then finally, enter ask user to enter number 3. Ask user to enter number 3, and once again calculate current infos. Okay, now this time we're going to use it a little bit differently. You mightn't have seen it this way before, but we're going to have sum is equal to. Now instead of doing sum is equal to number 1 plus number 2 plus number 3, you can actually reuse sum. Okay, so sum plus number 3. Now for anyone who might have a little bit of difficulty grasping that, let's say the first number you entered, let's say the numbers you entered was 2, 3 and 4. So number 1 was 2, okay, and number 2 was 3. So for sum now is equal to number 1, which is 2, plus number 2, which is 3. 2 and 3 is 5. So at this point here, sum is equal to 5. Okay? And then what we're doing here is we're just reusing it. So sum is equal to sum, which is 5, plus number 3, which is going to be 4. 5 plus 4 is equal to 9. So now the new sum becomes 9. So that's just reusing numbers. Like, I mean, you could write it a way where you could have separate variables for current sum and total sum. But I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you want to try and get the code written as best as possible, and sometimes that does mean have as little variables as possible. Now, obviously, don't skimp when you actually do need the extra variable, but in this case, we don't. So we're just going to reuse sum. So like that, and then the next one, product, and the same again is equal to product multiplied by number 3. Okay, and it's all the same principle still. And then finally for the last one, average is equal to, and now this time you don't need to put average plus or whatever. You can just use sum again, because sum up here has been initialized as 9 already. So 9 divided by 3, which is going to give you the answer of 3, obviously. Okay, and then finally in this last one, all you have to do is just, instead of having current, oh crap. Wow, I really can't use the keyboard tonight. The final, and the final of the numbers. Okay. Now that's the whole program done. Now, okay, I'll show you what I mean, but this is going to look kind of what I think looks cluttered in the console window. But first we'll build it just to test it anyway. Process complete. So let's say first number is 2. So the current sum of the numbers is 2. The current product is 2. The current average is 2. Okay, that's simple enough. Please enter number 2. Let's say 3. The current sum is 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. The current product numbers is 6. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. And the current average, 5 divided by 2 is, well, 2. Really, we should be using a double there. Sorry, that's kind of my fault. And then enter the third number, 4. The final sum is 9, the final product is 24, and the final average is 3. But as you can see here, it just looks kind of all dumped into the 1. So I'm going to make use of something called a blank line, just to break it up a little bit better. Okay, so we're asked to enter the first number and we'll enter the numbers. And now I'm going to introduce the blank line, which is simply just system.out.print print line, and just have the quotation marks but nothing in between them, not even a space, and that will just do a complete blank line. Okay, and we'll do one after this. Oh, sorry. System.out.print line. Okay, blank line, and at the end I suppose we'll just put a blank line here. System.out.print line, and there you have it. And now I just honestly think it does change the readability of the program a lot more. So please enter your first number 2, and now you see it has a space just to break it up. You know, I think it looks a bit tidier in your programs. You know, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of tidiness in your program, especially when you come to making user interfaces. You know, it'll just get you prepared for that. But there you go, that's the whole program then working fine. As I said, on the second number there, the current average should really be 2.5. So if you want, just change the variables to doubles instead of ints, and that'll fix that problem. So that can be a little project, I suppose, if you want to call it that, to do yourself. But that's it for this JLab, and I'll think I'll bring out the last one now tonight, just to finish off lab sheet 1. Okay, so until next time.